Greetings, my name is Stasia Bliss, and I'm excited to be with you on this journey of inner discovery, of taking back the deserve level, of being treated the way you're meant to be treated. I want you to take a deep breath right now, just into however you feel in this moment. We're just starting with the here and the now. Now, you know what you want to get from this course, but perhaps it feels like you cannot access it. It's just an idea. It's just something over there that sounds really nice, right? Sounds really nice to get treated the way I deserve to be treated, right? We all want to feel that way, every single human. So right now, you and me both, let's take our hands over our heart, over our belly, solar plexus area, and I want you to just tune in with me, and I'm going to do this too, with exactly how you're feeling right now in this moment. Just take a life scan. And I know it might be harsh. Maybe there's stuff you don't want to see there, but in order to walk through this course, we got to be big girls, and we got to be willing to look at our lives. So plain and simple, you and me both, just take a scan through our lives at all the ways in which we allow ourselves to be interacted with. I mean, let's get real, right? If someone is behaving toward us a way, we might turn around and say, how have I allowed this treatment? How have I? And it might just feel like all the swords are turned around on the self right now. So maybe you don't want to do that. Do you? Not yet? Okay, so let's then look at all the ways in which we're being treated poorly. All the ways. Every way. And I think the first step is probably just validating that we feel that way. Yeah, I have so-and-so who treats me this way. I don't know why they do. You can start there. I don't know why they treat me this way. Every time I see what's his name, this is how I feel. Or this is how I'm made to feel. What about mom and dad? Maybe mom and dad don't fully see me, don't see you, don't see who you are, who you've become. They still see the one that was making all the mistakes, or the child you, or whatever. And so when you're there with one or both of them, or the thought of them, is it the ideal relationship? Maybe not. And let's just sit with all that, right? Brother, sister, best friend. Is this the ideal way to feel when I'm with a best friend? Child, if you have any children, does your child reflect back to you? Do they treat you disrespectfully? Is there anything there that we could say, yeah, I'd like that to be better? And we're just taking a life scan, and it's a little prickly. It's a little prickly, but I'm going to invite you with me to just feel the prickles for a minute. Like, feel the little porcupines, kind of like when you get acupuncture and you're just like, I know that something has to change. And if you haven't got acupuncture, I totally recommend it. You're like, I know something has to change in here, and I know it might hurt a little to do it, but because the outcome I want, I'm willing to let you stick this needle in me. And maybe you're not that kind. But whatever you have allowed, maybe a massage, Maybe you're not the kind who will let you touch any part of you. Just sit with that if that's you. Like, I don't want the person to even touch me because I don't know if I'm going to like how that feels. And so I'm just going to avoid that altogether. But there is a chance that somewhere in there it could feel good, but let's wait on that. Right now, my heart is kind of hurting. How about yours? Like feeling into all these places, right? All these places that are, they're like the puzzle pieces fitting together, and all the puzzle pieces are people. And we're the one puzzle piece with all the holes or whatever, insert slots, receptor sites, whatever you want to call it. And we're feeling those are the relationship connectors, right? All of the places, the ways we can be treated. Are you feeling some of them are like sandpaper? I'm just going to invite you to feel that. Or some pokey. Or some feeling like knives even. And just if there's some emotion there, which there may be, I can feel my stomach tightening right now thinking about it. How about you? And so I'm just going to take a couple of deep breaths into that tightness. And oh boy, I feel it even more. But look, it's going to allow some tears to come to actually feel it. So I'm going to squeeze my stomach muscles even more on top of that. And I'm going to breathe into it again because I have this sense that it's kind of pushing that stuck feeling, that disempowered feeling, because you know the navel is actually where we carry disempowerment or empowerment. So one of them is happening. And maybe it's a little bit of disempowerment here. So we just feel that. And they actually have a name for that block. It is a granti, and it's knotted. It's a granti knot. In Sanskrit, the nati is the lock. It literally is the psychic lock, the energetic lock. And you can feel it in your physical body, right? If you're like me right now, you can feel like all this self-assessment is causing me to notice this in my gut. So as I breathe that though, as I push my belly out with the inhale, and then I pull it back in and actually like push it on purpose. And then do it again. And then like push the painful spot on purpose again. Ooh, makes me want to cough. And even my nose is running. These are all symptoms of body shifts, okay? So if you're having any, even like a tickle in your throat, any of that, just swallow through that. Maybe take a drink of water. And do this again. So every time we press that belly into that painful block spot, we're actually pushing like an internal acupuncture or acupressure spot that is the location of one of the Grantis here in the navel. And we're pushing that in. This is Vishnu Granti. And I love the representation of Vishnu because Vishnu is one of the triad in the Hindu deities that represent how God expresses, how the divine expresses. And you have Brahma, which is the initiator. Vishnu is the preserver. And then Shiva is the destroyer that allows for recreation. So three aspects of the divine. Vishnu consciousness is all about preserving the peace, preserving the creation. And so this lock, you know, when it's too tight, it's like Vishnu, that capacity is kind of being like choked out. So it can feel like this thing is kind of like choking, like through the wind out of you. You can't get a big, deep breath, right? You want to be able to get like a full breath. And if we can't, this Vishnu Granti is too tight. It's actually like choking that preservation quality that actually contributes to our longevity, to our health and well-being, and to our sense of empowerment. Because what is empowerment really? Feeling that you feel good being alive, that you feel powerful and in charge of your life on some levels, like you can handle it. So, as you breathe into the belly, and I invite you to let any emotions come that will. And oh, one of them is starting to move up to the throat. Can you feel that now? Maybe you're feeling it before me even. Some of it's moving to the throat, and it's actually kind of like a choking, pushing feeling on the throat. So that indicates the energy is moving. Actually, I can feel it in my heart too. But the energy is closely tied between the heart and the throat. They really work together to help us express what we love. And when they're blocked, it kind of wants to express what we totally hate, right? So maybe right now there's a little bit of rage or anger about how you've been treated. And I invite you to get that out. Like, no. Like, I want this to stop. This treatment, I want this to stop. No. Just make a ba, ha. And if you want to use a yogic technique, you can stick your tongue out and ha, and just ha, hoo. Whatever you need to do to get that energy moving. And you can feel when you do that with me, it pushes through the heart, it pushes through the throat. It actually opens up and relaxes the muscles in the face and all the way around the head, so you can give yourself a nice head massage. And if you need to do another one, please go ahead until you start to feel that swallowing is a little bit easier. So maybe you even massage, because you've got lymph nodes here right around that throat chakra. And this is actually where Rudra Granti sits, which is the Shiva lock. So Shiva, do you notice how that anger is kind of like a destructive force? It is destructive. It's associated with Shiva consciousness in the throat. And when it's too tight, we feel like we're going to destruct. We're going to be choked out of life. And so when we express and move that energy through Shiva Granti, through the portal of destruction and creation, we may need to allow some of that anger out, because that helps to destroy the old patterns. It actually moves them out to allow for the new creation. And it is a powerful tool in moving the energy in your body so that you are actually self-sustainable. We'll get more into that later. But for now, just start to feel if you need to, again, express from here, or if you need to pull the belly in, totally fine. Whatever you got to do to really feel all that stuff. And you can watch this again and again. You might have layers and layers to get to around this stuff. And we're going to do some exercises actually writing out what's coming up for you right now, or maybe what the next layer is. But right now, we're just trying to get to whatever wants to come out. I mean, you're here, so this stuff's been building up. I know I'm meeting you in that zone too. Like, another reason for doing this course, I have experienced this emotion very strongly in my life as well. And it's part of me moving forward to address this wound of, I want to be treated the way I deserve. I want to be treated with the divine nature that I am. And this is not just a want for all humanity. This is a need, a core need. And maybe you've just thought that's something that would be nice. But this is actually a sustaining mechanism for our very lives in order to access pure life force energy, which is our life. And so I think we come to these courses, we search for these practices because we literally feel life being choked out of us, that we are on some level dying. And this is, again, part of this ha, like no, like letting the sound come from deep in your heart all the way past your belly to your root. No. And if you can get that sound now to come all the way from the root, we are going to access the first Granti. And we're getting to that one last because this is the grounding into your body. So notice your root right now. Is it clenched up? Is it open wide? Does it feel relaxed? And can you notice the throat and the belly? You might feel those points a little stronger now because we activated them. So feel those. And then if you can, try to imagine you're pulling now any more of that pain or anger or rage all the way from your root, because this is where you've been rooted. You've been like rooted into this stuff and it's been sustaining you. It's been like the ground and almost like our home that we've put roots into. Like we're gonna try to keep ourselves alive even though all of this, that's literally what our energy is doing. So we're gonna reach right in with our voice. And you're going to try to drop your voice right into it. And if you send it low enough, you will activate the navel lock. It will act like a digger and it will begin to pull. And then with your breath, you can pull it and like exhale it. And you have to go with your voice again. And dig it deep into your root. Dig. And you can feel if you have release because you'll get some tears, right? And sometimes we do this automatically. It is an automatic response to keep us alive. But also to realize that when we help ourselves go through this process, we can actually get ahead of it. We can get ahead of it. We can guide it. We can help to birth the new reality we want, and it's not just a haphazard result of our explosion. You know, because otherwise we get into this place and we just break in the moment, right? And we can break a relationship in that moment because that force is it can be so destructive. It's coming from Shiva, and it's coming from preserving, and it's coming from the root, which is a brand new creation. And here's the key. This process that we are going through in this course is a new birthing of you. It is literally a birthing that you are facilitating. And Lisa and I are assisting, guiding you, but you are facilitating the birthing of a new you. The you that gets treated exactly the way you deserve, and that's the root. So when we dig in, anything that's not that, anything that's not being treated the way you want, you're bringing that energy up and you're crying it, you're feeling it, you're sobbing it, you're letting it like run down your face and nose. And it's actually a purging, a full experiencing of that, so that it is complete, that reality, because it wasn't already created. It maybe wasn't created by your design, not the way you wanted. It was a subconscious creation, or it was a societal creation, or it was an ancestral, or it was all of that, a hodgepodge of all of it. And I suggest to you that that is exactly what it is, including subliminal like messaging that maybe we didn't want in things in the world. And so sovereignty, taking our power back, becoming empowered, being treated the way we deserve. We've got to birth that reality. And so that's what these practices do. So as we cough and reach and scoop down with our voice into the root, we also pinch the root. We clench the root. If you're a lady, just like doing the Kegel muscle exercises, right? I guess this whole course is for ladies. Kegel muscle exercises, but your man can learn this too. That clenching and pinching of the root, that pushes the energy up. It's literally like a pump. It pumps that life force, because that's where the life force is coming from. Think of a fountain pump. If the motor is down, your water is not going to move. And it's just like this in the body. So as we begin to like bring our emotions deep down into that pump, our hips kind of naturally rock, and you can't really see me, but our hips actually rock in as we're doing this crying. And when we roll back down, if we clench the Mula Bandha lock there and breathe that up, the pinch is like pushing that energy up and allowing us to get it out. And actually the energy begins to look just like a fountain. If you could see it, you're breathing it up the spine and you're exhaling it. You're using your throat, but the energy actually pushes all the way up and out, as if you had spigots here at the top. That's the crown chakra, and this life force moves all the way through it. So, woo, how you feeling right now? That was a lot. I can feel it moving differently. Can you? You may actually need to lie down after that. You may go into a fetal position and just feel that energy that's changing in you now, because it is. It is changing in you. I feel it changing in you. Keep going, girl. Keep going at it. Whatever you need to feel. Whenever you are ready, just sit with that. Breathe it. There's one layer that we've peeled off, maybe a few. And it gives you a sense of vibrance on your skin a bit. Even if there's still heaviness, like it feels like a change. And it brings a clear-headedness. And so when you can take a few deep breaths into a new feeling, try to do some sighing. It might be tight still, as your chest is still kind of clenching around the heart, maybe protecting, and that's normal, and we're going to get to some of that. It's okay. You can bring that in and bring into these next practices all that you are right now, exactly as you are right now. This is exactly where we're going to work it. And I want you to just take a moment and love this about you. Whatever came up, whatever you're feeling, whatever snot is on your face or whatever, I want you to take a moment and recognize that I'm lovable like this too. This is also lovable and beautiful. And actually, what woman really is. What woman can do. Oh my God, what woman can do. What the goddess can do through feminine form. What is queenship? What is that? We are discovering that in this course more and more. But first, realize that woman is magic. And this is part of why we felt so bad, because there hasn't really been an acknowledgement or a place for this magic in this world, truly. And so what you and I are all asking, all the women are asking who are here, is how can a woman be really treated like a woman? Just by men too, but by other women. How can women see each other different? Men see women different. Women see men different. This is part of it too. And I invite you into this vision that you will get to have as we walk forward in this course. To being treated as the divine being that you are. It is your right and your birthright and actually the birthright of every human. And it begins with you. So thank you for coming here for this journey. I'm excited and so, so honored that you chose here to meet right now. So take a moment and thank yourself for choosing to find out how this works, to be treated as you are meant to be. Your whole self, whole beautiful, messy self is welcome. And here we go.